I'm a minute late, but I'm here. I'm reviewing my stack of paperwork that I have put together for this show. Those of you who heard me talking about it yesterday, hey everybody, understand that this show might be somewhat, well, no, it's going to be definitely controversial, but you know me, I thrive off of controversy. It's my snack food. I hate to do the same stuff that everybody else is doing and saying the same things that everybody else is saying. So we're going to go out on the ledge here. We're going to say some things that need to be said, some truths that need to be told, and examine some policies and behaviors and attitudes that are directly impacting women and, of course, girls, teenage girls as well. Now, let me start first by going over the YouTube hate speech policy because I anticipate there's going to be a whole bunch of folks that's mad because I'm saying that they're not women. So they're going to be triggered by that for their own little whatever reasons this goes on in their mind. But I want you to understand that nothing I'm about to say qualifies under YouTube's policies as hate speech because this is an intellectual discussion. We're going to be talking about the impact politically and socially of this movement on women, politically and socially. Okay. Nobody's hating on anyone. But by the same token, you don't have the right to tell me because I disagree with you that I'm, put some label on me like transphobic. Fuck all that. You deal with the shit like a big boy, like you are, and we're just going to go with this and we're just going to talk about this like adults. Okay. Now you don't have to like it. You don't have to listen. And definitely if you put any kind of fucked up comments on my channel, I'm going to delete and block you. If you can't come here and act like you have some sense, then don't come. Okay. Now, erasure of, well, see, to me, there's only one kind of woman, the ones that are born with a vagina. Okay. So for the purposes of this video, we will have V havers and P havers. Okay. So I don't care what kind of clothes you put on or surgery you get or hormones you take and all these shots you get and whatever. If you're a P haver, then I don't know what to tell you. You don't qualify as a V haver and never will. Okay? So let's just get that real straight before we even, this damn phone, before we even go too far here. Let me begin by saying, I want to point out something. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of, V havers versus P havers. That's how this is going to be framed tonight. So that way it's very clear what I'm talking about, okay? I'm not going to use none of these fancy acronyms that they like to use and all this stuff. We just talking about, how you was born, your XX or your XY, and that's it and that's all. Okay. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of months ago, Genuine was on this show and he was practically assaulted by a trans person who says that he is a woman. He asked Genuine, I'm trying to find it. Where did I print that out? Oh, here it is. Okay. So you can't be tolerant. Tolerance in their mind seems to only work one way. I've noticed that. They're not tolerant of people who don't believe as they do, who are, like kind of like stuck on science and stuff and not really tripping on what you feel and what you think and believe and all that stuff when science says otherwise. They're not, worrying about that. So Genuine was on, yes, UK reality show Big Brother. He got called all kind of names and labeled a transphobe for refusing to kiss his male to female transgender co-star India Willoughby on live TV. When discussing dating, Willoughby complained that Genuine would date women, but not him, claiming he really is a woman. When Genuine conceded that he would not date Willoughby if he knew he were trans, things escalated. I'm a woman, right? Said Willoughby. Forget about any T's or anything in front of it. So on that score, you would date me, wouldn't you? No, if you told me you was trans, replied Genuine. No, I'm not telling you I'm trans, Willoughby insisted. I'm a woman with a dick. A woman? Yes, answered the pony singer. So for some reason, it promoted Willoughby to grab Genuine's neck and lean in for a kiss. Genuine appeared to be extremely uncomfortable at this moment and quickly pulled away. Genuine's rejection of the advances came with backlash. He's now being accused of transphobia. But see, in any other world of crime and assault and all stuff, no means no. Okay. How many times do we understand that? As a woman, when we tell a man no, no means no. The way that this India Willoughby responded to Genuine is typically a male response. They want what they want from you, regardless of what you want. So even though Genuine said, I don't want to kiss you because you're a dude, he was going to try to force it on him. And that's what men do to women all the time. So you see, even though he's sitting up here saying he's a woman, his immediate response was to demand and take like men do. That's what they do. So, essentially, so you got to say, if it's a trans person, you got to go along with what they want because otherwise you get labeled a transphobe. Well, who gives a fuck? Call me whatever the hell you want to. I will be a transphobe. I will have that shit tattooed on my forehead. But it doesn't change anything. It doesn't make any difference to me what you point out or what you think I am or what kind of label you want to fling at me like a toddler. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is this political machine that they have going to eradicate women from everything. And I'm telling you, looking at women's sports, that's my next thing. Women's sports, y'all better do something about this because otherwise women's sports are going to go away. Because soon as they decide that they're a man, and with all that male muscularity now, even though they might be on hormones now, for their whole life and all through adolescence, they've had testosterone flooding their body. Their muscular development, everything else is based on that. So now all of a sudden, because here they are a man and they, an adult and decide that they want to say that they're a woman and they start taking drugs, the muscular development has already happened. It's too late. You can't undo puberty. You know what I mean? So you already got the muscular strength and everything of an adult male, and that's never going to go away. So you put yourself in a ring with some woman, even the strongest woman is going to be powerless to win over you. Okay, now this happened in a track meet. This was just recently. This happened Friday. This story was written Friday, June 8th. Girl sports are for girls, right? Girl sports should be fun and compete against other girls. Girl sports are not strictly for entertainment, nor are girl sports a way for crappy male athletes to feel good about themselves. So then there's this video, right? And it shows these two dudes running as women in a women's race. And of course, this guy, Terry Miller, he won. He's a biological male. He's had, like I just described, testosterone flooding his body since he was born. Okay, so now he's, in a young adult in senior year of high school, and he's trying to compete against the girls. So in a situation like that, of course, with all his muscles, he blew past the women because they don't have that kind of muscular strength. It totally messed up the competition for all those girls. Why those coaches and that the school district and everybody allowed that is beyond my understanding. That was totally unfair to the girls. But if you keep noticing, there's a theme here about this whole movement. It's unfair to women and girls. It's like our voices are being silenced. A lot of women are being silenced because of fear, of being like attacked online because they come in groups. And they come in groups and they want to, harass you and call you all kind of turfs and all this old stuff. They don't like what the fuck ever. They don't even have. I'm sure they're in everything. They're in everything. And what's happening is, well, everybody says that they don't want to get attacked, so they keep quiet about it, and that's what they're depending on. That is a typical behavior pattern of an abuser. That's what abusive men do. So now they've got it's TERF. I forgot what it's. I have a dictionary, a lexicon over here that I'll go over some of those some of those terms. But the coaches are not really too pleased about the thing because they got into women's sports because they believe that girls should have the opportunity to compete on a level playing field and get their trophies and get their prize money and scholarships to schools and all this kind of stuff. And now you think about this. I want you to guys to think about the big picture here. If men are competing against women as women and there's scholarships for college involved and the girls don't get them, the boys are going to get them with their wig wearing, dress wearing selves. Okay, so what does that do for the girls' sports and girls' opportunities for athletic scholarships? They're going to go up in smoke. I keep telling you guys, you got to look at the big picture here. Stop looking at each little thing because these are the women will be like, well, I'm all for people having their rights. I don't give a fuck. See, my thing is this rights, your rights end where they start infringing on mine. Because you have the right to wear whatever the fuck you want to. But if you try to force yourself on me on a romantic sense, force yourself to walk around in my locker room so I have to look at your nasty ass dick and your hairy balls and shit, then we have a problem because now your rights have superseded mine. And that is not the way that it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have some rights that that you don't get like beat up and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's great. I am full agreement with that. But by the time that you start pushing yourself in women's spaces, take your dick having ass on over there to the men's room where you belong. That's where you belong. You're a P haver. P havers need to be together. P havers do not need to be in a room with V havers. Okay, now in another case, where it is. Okay, a female only spa. Well, yeah, Facebook be tripping because I think a lot of them work there too. A female only spa got accused of being transphobic for having a no male genitals policy. Now um you can't say no men allowed. Now you have to say no pee havers allowed because they want to say that they're women. Okay, so then this place is in Toronto. They don't let anybody come in there that has male genitals. Okay, I don't care what you think you are. You have a dick and you ain't coming up in here. I'm full support of that policy. This is a space where women go. The women walk around nude. They get in the spa. They get massages. They do mud baths. They do all this stuff, right? And it's all women. It's like a female bonding experience. Okay, now you're gonna throw some dick haver up in there. Is it's gonna be a problem? Okay, because now there's all these women around. What if the dude gets a boner? Now what? You know what I mean? It's like, and who wants to look at that? I mean, dicks are really not cute. So I don't know why they think somebody want to be looking at this shit all the time. They're not cute at all. So what they say is that some women have penises and balls, and it's not fair that transgender women have to find another spot where they can choose to spend their time and money. Nope, they demand that everyone accepts their bizarre social justice grievances. So, like I said, this place has full nudity, and they do not want any transgender women in it. And these men want some inclusive policy. So this is a private business. Okay, this is not a government-run facility. They don't have to let nobody in there that violates the policies of their business, which is the model upon which the business was created. It's for women only, V havers, okay, not P havers. So they're holding their ground though, in spite of being, attacked by some of these, by the trans people. And I'm a full supporter. I need to write them a letter and say, keep up the good work, because women need to have some spaces for themselves where men are not. In another case, we start talking about what happened up in Washington State. There's a big push now to get that change. I want to put a video link here for you to see. I'm going to include it when I have to edit this video because I want to include that video in this somewhere. But there's a very real issue when you have women in a space where they're feeling safe because of other women, and then P havers come in there. A lot of women and girls have been sexually assaulted and molested as children. They don't feel comfortable around half naked or naked men. It triggers them and it makes them frightened, and they have PTSD and all kind of stuff starts going on. Okay, They need to be in a position where they feel safe. They don't feel safe when these men want to push themselves into the spaces where the women are. So, we have to consider that as well. They're also up in Washington State. Now, listen to this. So they passed this law, right? Stupid, just stupid ass white people. And so they said, well, anybody who says that they're, if they say they're a woman, then they can go into these, public pools and all this old stuff, right? So, but the thing about these laws is they're so poorly written. There's no proof required. Otherwise, a man just, gets up and goes and orders a wig off of Amazon and puts it on and puts some lipstick, even though he still has his beard, and then he goes into the locker room. In this particular instance, this guy went into the locker room where there was a girls' team swim meet. So he walked into this locker room where there's all these young teenage girls showering and changing clothes and standing around there. So the management of the place comes in and tells him, you got to get up out of here. And he says, no, you can't make me because, this law protects me. I can be here if I want to. Of course he was a perpetrator. Why else would he be up in there? And he wasn't changing clothes to swim. He was just ogling the girls. And so, but the management people didn't even call the police. So all those teenage girls, what message did they just get? One man can threaten my safety, my peace of mind, my sanctity of my body. He can look at me anytime he wants to in my most vulnerable state, and I have no right to make him stop. You're not going to protect me. These are minor children. These are girls in high school. Okay? And then, you know what I mean? It's like, it's one thing if you're in a situation where you're adults. Okay, that's uncomfortable, but they're still adults. These are minors. Okay, you don't get to be sexually exposing yourself to minor children. That business was foul and funky, and I understand Planet Fitness has this rule. So I don't know if people want to be a member of Planet Fitness. That's on you. I would take my money up out of there, and not be bothered with them. You got to. So you're gonna let men just on the whim of what, because it's Tuesday and they want to be in the women's room, just come walking in there, and you okay with that? Nah. YMCA, same shit. So I'm really wondering what it is that everybody is so afraid of. These trans people are a super minority, okay, of the population in this country. I mean, like, so minuscule, it's not even funny. Why are you guys all running around and kowtowing and kissing their asses? What are you doing? All you got to do is tell them, fuck no, that shit's not going to happen. If enough people told them no, this shit would stop. But instead, it's like everybody's like codependent and just all, kissing their asses and doing what they want them to do. Stop being so fucking scared all the time. I swear, white people just are so scary and just so fearful of every goddamn thing. They're backed by LGBT, but even the LGBT is sick of their shit. They don't want to be bothered with them. That's why they took that T out. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all kind of articles online about how they really want to have a separate organization and not include them in it because they just cause too much shit. I always want to be arguing with somebody and infringing on people. The LGBT people, have like peacefully and sanely and respectfully lobbied for them to not be discriminated against, as far as them getting married and this kind of stuff. They're not hurting anybody. They're not putting themselves in a position where they're infringing on anyone's rights. They just want to be able to be themselves, right? So they're not trying to push into locker rooms and push into dressing rooms and make people kiss them and all this stuff. They're not doing any of those things. They respect other people. And that's all we're asking for from these trans people. Respect the fact that everybody ain't going to agree with you. Yeah, I know they want to try discriminations. Fuck all that shit. Because let me explain how this is. It might be a bully organization, but whatever. We're not talking about them right now. We're talking about this trans shit. Um, this is how insane this is. Okay, look at me. What do you see right here? What you see? Tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be a white male. I feel like a white male. You need to recognize me. I want to go and become a member of the KKK, and you can't deny me because I know I was born in the wrong body. I wasn't born as a black woman. Inside, I'm a white male. You can't tell me any difference. You need to let me do what I want to do, and you need to address me as sir. And I want every right and privilege as I get as a white male. You see how fucked up and ridiculous that shit is? That's essentially what they're doing. It's the same shit. Because you feel like everybody can see what you are. Come on now. But suddenly you want to say that you feel like something else? Yeah, right. It is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I just something I don't know what that's all about, but whatever. Okay, now I have so many notes here. Let's go through some of these. Shit, where's my? Let's while we're on the subject of sexuality, let's talk about. Yeah, she say she feels up. She feels like she's black. And what did we all do? Laughed her ass into silence. And that's the same shit y'all should have been doing with these white dudes trying to act like they're women. But you didn't. You listened and you took it seriously. Why did you listen? Because you're so brainwashed that when a man says something, you listen automatically. If a man says something to you, you think that you're supposed to act on it. And you think that what he wants is more important than what you think. And what he wants is something that you have to give him. That's why this happened, because women are so awash in the patriarchal mindset that when a man says he wants something, y'all acquiesce without even a fight. You just do that. That's what you do. See, me, just because a man said it, that's gonna be more reason for me to argue about it. Because the men are stupid. I don't believe half the shit they say is ridiculous, and they know it's ridiculous when they were saying it. Okay, let's talk about some of the crimes that trans alleged women have done. Yeah, black male trans, they are, but you know what? They don't have the power that the white ones do. The white ones are the ones that make the laws get changed. Black ones don't have that kind of power, and they don't have that kind of money. So I mean, they're on a different level. They just add to the numbers, but they are not the ones in the front pushing for the change. They're not those voices. The only one who's in that pool is as a spokesperson is that Laverne Cox dude, and he might have some money because he was on what you call it, that show, what is it, Orange is the New Black. Probably got some money from HBO for that. But as far as being rich, like these tech people and they millionaires and shit, stock shares and all those stuff, not even on that level. So this is not a good picture, but this is a ugly ass dude that claims that he's a trans woman, and he got convicted recently for sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl in the bathroom of somebody's house. And the little girl came out the bathroom and ran and told her mother. The mother commenced to beating the dude's ass all up and down the street. And I was like, ooh, I wish I had been there because I would have got me some too. And dude pled not guilty, but they did a sex test, kiss, and of course, everything came back positive. And so this motherfucker right here, the sexual pervert that he is going to prison for a very long time. As he should. And now another thing that I'm going to go over these definitions in a minute, but first I want to talk about another thing is that these guys do is because, okay, what they have is, what's it called? Autogynephilia. Autogynephilia. I'll tell you what that is. I was researching, I found out. Autogynephilia is a predilection that some men have to where they become sexually excited at the thought of being female. So that's why they like to put on, pretty underwear and dresses and get their nails done and put on makeup and all this kind of stuff, because seeing themselves as a woman makes them get wood. Those p-havers. Yes, autogynephilia, that's what it's called. And I was like, okay, so when I started looking at the statistics, it is estimated that 90% of the adult transitional male to females have that affliction. See, they've done everything else. So now they want to be a woman because there ain't shit else for them to do to get their dick hard. So, they've already done every other freaky thing. This is the last, as they used to say on Star Trek, the final frontier. So that's what they're doing. Autogynephilia is not that. It might be part of it. I mean, I don't know, but the way it was described by the psychiatrist is more of and erotic fascination is all, of course, as a typical man, based on their dick. Is anything that men do not based on their dick? I mean, I am so serious right now. It's like every single fucking thing they do. So these dudes, so then they take it to the next level, right? Because dressing like that and putting on bras and parading around like they're a girl, it gets boring after a while. So then they want to go with the surgery, and they want, as part of their fantasy, they want to have other people recognize them as a woman because it makes them more excited. So to be called she and her, and it's all part of their whole fantasy. So I was reading that shit. I was like, man, these are some nut jobs for real. And it's like everybody, was trying to tell. I mean, it used to be, like I said, in the DSM, that this was a mental affliction. Only recently, with all the, politicization, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, all the politics involved in this trans movement, did that get changed. And I'm really thinking they should not have done that, because there's something wrong with someone who cannot accept themselves for who and what they are. That's a problem. That is a problem. I mean, these people need help. They don't need, $150,000 worth of surgery to try to make them be something that they're not. There's something wrong there. And these doctors are just use them, make it all kind of, you know, all kinds of money off of these people who are in a very sad state. And so then they're saying, well, a lot of them commit suicide. Suicide rate is a much higher rate than, the general population. It's like, of course they're going to commit suicide because they're sick. There's something wrong with them. They need help to, figure out how to accept themselves in their bodies, and, whatever trauma may have happened to them when they were younger that made them not like to be the gender that they are. That's what needs to be worked on. Well, yeah, the parents are contributing, because now they're giving these hormones to these kids before they even reach adolescence. They're basically experimenting on these people's children with all these different drugs and surgeries and shit, and just using them to make money. Nobody gives a fuck about kids these days. It's just really sad. This is just another example of it. Now, why is it that when you're born a woman, okay, you can't just up and decide that you're going to become a woman overnight like that. It doesn't work like that. The reason is because our entire lives we have been socialized, we have suffered, we have had experiences and interactions with other people that all came together to make us who we are as women. So it's like they want to take the pretty parts, which is, the clothes and the high heels and the makeup and all this stuff. And that's why you can tell us that autogynephilia, because the part where it has like, well, when I'm dressed like that, I get sexually harassed. Duh. That's what happens to women. You want to be one, but you only want to be one in some little cocoon where you just dress up and, look cute, but you don't want to deal with the realities of what we have to go through dealing with men. Men. And even when they talk about, the trans murders and stuff, it's men killing them. It's not us. So, I'm just like kind of in awe at the whole, the focus on women and trying to eradicate women and coming up with terms like cis and turf. And what else do we have? What else? Oh, transphobic. And hold on, I'm looking for my lexicon. Oh, here it is. Okay. Term, and cis is a term invented by transgender activists to stigmatize women and men not afflicted with the false fixed idea that they are members of the opposite sex. So see, if it's like they say, well, there's cis women and there's trans women. No, there's only women, and you're not one. So it's like, putting the trans in front of it, and cis, you're trying to give yourself some kind of equality with us. You don't get to tell us what we are. You don't have that right. I universally and categorically deny that. You're never gonna ever label me any fucking thing I don't want to be. I'm a woman and you're not. So that's just deal with it. That's reality. Sis, who fucking knows what it means? It don't mean shit really. But it's just a way that they try to, use to differentiate. It's basically differentiating between women who are VHAVers and alleged women who are pee havers. So see, they say some women have penises. No, fool. Men have penises, women have vaginas. That's the way that it is. I swear. Okay, then they talk about die in a fire, DIAF. If you ever see that online, it says it's an expression commonly used by female impersonators to intimidate women who refuse to comply with their narcissistic demand for validation. An important strategy for enforcing population level compliance with transgenderism or other new ideologies promoted through the mass media, government, children, schools, and biased agenda driven, quote, science. Through constant negative, repetitive hyping of lies, large sectors of society begin to feel like they're going crazy, doubting and disbelieving what they know very well to be the truth and making efforts to accept the outrageous lies. That's what we have going on right now. I found this other statistic too that said that if only it only takes 25% of a population to make a social change. Isn't that frightening? What are the other 75% doing? Sitting around just bullshitting? Them 75% should put the stomp on that 25%. You know what I mean? It's like I was reading that shit. I'm like, okay, this is they must be talking about white people because this is like some weak ass shit. That's like you just sitting up there. Um, you got 25% of the people who are not rep too tight telling other people the 75% what to do, and y'all just gonna do it. You don't know how to say no. I'm like, really? This was kind of amazing. I don't know where I put that piece, but if you saw my desk, I have about seriously about 100 different articles and stuff that I was reading for this show. Now then here they call it's gaslighting. We all know what gaslighting is because niggas do that shit all the time. But in the trans world, it refers to the effects of transgender individuals to convince everyone in their lives that they are really and have always been the opposite sex. In some cases of so-called transgender children refers to parental indoctrination of these kids on the notion that the girl's real boy or vice versa. Then they talk about gender. There's just a lot of battles. They say, no, I'm gender fluid. No, that means you don't know what the fuck you doing and you don't know what the fuck you are. That's what that means. It's just a nice little, term for it. But it's like, okay, I was reading this one guy's quote and he's like, sometimes I wake up and I feel like a man like I am. And sometimes I wake up and feel like a woman. And sometimes I don't feel like either one. I'm like, okay, you crazy. How how you not feel like either one? You got to be one or the other, but you can't. You feel like a lion today? I mean, what? What you saying? A seagull? Flipper? What? What the fuck? So I'm sitting out there, I was rolling. I'm like, man, this stuff, I mean, how can you take these people seriously? You feel like a walrus today. Yeah, well, that might be true too. I don't know. I just was looking at it just like kind of in awe because, I'm trying to understand. Seriously, I'm trying to get to the point where I can understand what all this is about. But everything I read, everything, all the studies, all the reports, all the posts by them and everything. I mean, even the words that they use, they have a lot of circuitous logic that doesn't really mean anything. For an example, where's that one? Hold on. Oh, shit. I got too many damn pieces of paper here. Okay, here it is. They're talking about women have cis privilege. Yeah, they lie to men about who they really are, and that's why they be getting killed. Because, a lot of dudes don't like that. You're not going to see that's what they try to do to Oh, the Obama administration did give us that headache, but our boy Trump took it away. So it's a moot point at this point. It's one of his first things he did in office was do away with that shit because that was the thing where, he made where if you got money for schools, you got federal funds for a school that you had to be, inclusive and let any guy who said that he wanted um, he felt like a woman, he had to be let into women's spaces. Well, all kind of lawsuits were flying and all kind of stuff about that. And so anyway, Trump, that was a, executive order and Trump undid it. So it's a moot point now. Some states though are doing similar things about bathrooms to Texas was one where it was on the vote up for vote last year. Was it last year or the year before? Something like that. They shot that shit down so hard it was ridiculous. And they were like, we do not want our daughters, our precious little Texas daughters, in the bathroom with no pee havers. We don't want that. See, this is too much. Change the anthem to represent this little 2% of the population. See, there's something wrong with the people who are letting this, intimidate them. These people don't have enough power to do any kind of intimidation. Their numbers are too small. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't understand why all these laws have been changed. Because see, this is why women need to really get up on this. Because, okay, like I said, I'm not for anybody, attacking them, beating on them, spitting on them, killing them, all the stuff. You don't do that really to anyone, but there's no need to do that because of people's race, size, age, gender, or whatever else they are. Okay, you keep your hands to yourself. That's what you need to do. On the other hand, what they're doing is trying to get all these rights and acknowledgement and validation at the expense of V-havers. Whose locker rooms are being infringed? Is it men's? No, it's ours. Whose dressing rooms are being infringed? Ours. Whose bathrooms are being infringed? Ours. Dressing rooms at the store? Ours. Whose label, as far as she, her, all this, whose labels are being infringed upon? Ours. It's to the point where they don't even want you to say expected woman, pregnant woman. They want you to say pregnant person. You know what? Kiss my ass. No person is getting pregnant here. It's a woman. Somebody with a V and a uterus. That's who's pregnant. Okay, just accept it. It's not you. Yes, there has to be jealousy. That's what I'm saying. When you connect all these dots, the autogynephilia is definitely at work here. Like I said, one of the statistics I read said 90% or more of the men have that issue at work. And that is why they are so angry and get so enraged when someone tells them that they're not a woman and you cannot call yourself that. Speaking of which, okay, wait, let me finish with these this thing where they talk about privilege. They say that, girl, let them get a menstrual cramp. Just let them get one. I saw a video where they had this thing, they put the things on these little electronic doohickeys on these men's abdominals, right? And had and mimicked labor pains. Them motherfuckers gave up after 5 minutes. They was about to die. Women have multiple children. Women are tougher than men. And that's an experience that no man can ever have because he doesn't have the equipment to have a baby. It doesn't matter what they say. You're not a woman. You're never going to be a woman. You'll never have a child, ever. You'll never have a menstrual cycle, ever. You'll never go through puberty and grow breasts, never. Any clitoris you have is a surgically created one. It's not real. Okay, even when they get a surgically created vagina, all the stuff that they have to do to clean it and all that stuff. It's like a nightmare. This dude was telling me, I'm like, what, stop talking. I don't even want to talk about it because it was just too nasty. Ugh. It's just too much just to, to feel like they have this kind of equipment. I'm like, there's something going on. I don't understand why somebody would want to hurt themselves like that. I don't know. In their mind, they want it to look like ours. Okay, so they get the surgery and, they get the false surgically created labia and all this other stuff. Okay, so they're now talking about what's the cis privilege. Cisgender privilege. You also got to figure, okay, and this author did acknowledge that as a white person, even if he's, considering himself to be trans, he's going to have more privileges than a black trans because he's white. So I gave him credit for that. That was good. He put that right out there. That he would be impacted by both, a person of color rather, will be impacted by both racism and transphobia. But it's really not transphobia, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, because what is a phobia? Phobia is a Latin term, and it means irrational fear of something, irrational fear. I don't know anybody who's afraid of a trans person. They just don't want to be bothered. And the main thing they don't want to be bothered with is them infringing on their right to not have to be bothered with them. So it's like to try to force you to be right, to be bothered with them, like that dude trying to force himself on Genuine. And even on the personal ads, they want to say, well, after they, decide that they're a woman, they want to claim that they're lesbian. Okay, these are P havers, right? Lesbians are V havers who like other V havers. Okay, if you have a P, you can't be a lesbian. Okay, that's like an oxymoron. Understand this. You can't be that. That's not for you. So they, are really get upset. And then so if they want to date a lesbian woman and she turns them down, then suddenly she's transphobic, she has problems, she's all these other things, instead of a woman who wants to have a relationship with another woman who is a real woman that has a vagina. Okay, that's what she's looking for. She's looking for a V haver. Yeah, they all tried it because I'm telling you, that's that autogynephilia thing. They want to feel like they're a woman. And look at him, Bruce Jenner. I mean, really, because he's surrounded by beautiful women. He was the only, well, no, I guess, what's his name? Rob. What, isn't that the brother's name? The little, he used to be fat. Rob or whatever was the only dude. And so, anyway, in this whole family full of gorgeous women, right? And Kris Jenner is a force to be reckoned with. You can tell she ain't no joke. So, I'm sure he, was feeling some kind of way about her personal strength and determination. So when he's got to the point where he feel like you can't beat him, join him. And I saw something where he was talking and, talking about, trans kids or something. I don't know. I looked about 10 seconds of it. I couldn't stand it. Sitting there with his Brucey voice and then big old Gollum looking hands and standing there looking all ridiculous with that long hair and stuff. I was like, this is just a hot mess. I don't know. They must be getting a lot of money for that because I can't understand it. Okay, so this list of cis privileges that women we allegedly have all these privileges. You are less likely to face harassment or violence for using a bathroom or locker room that aligns with your gender. You wouldn't have that either if you were in the locker room that aligned with your gender. So if you was a P haver over in the locker room with the other P havers, that wouldn't be an issue for you. Okay? What are you talking about? Let a girl go in the boys' locker room and watch the violence that she gets. You know what I mean? It's like this is just ridiculous. Logic is just really kind of screwy. Okay, you are less likely to be asked to wear a school uniform that does not align with your gender. Every school uniform, even for the girls, has skirts and pants and shorts. So there's 2 out of 3 things that you can still wear and you can still feel like whatever you are on the inside and still look, regular. So you don't have to wear a skirt. You want to because of that autogynephilia thing. You are less likely to be bullied by students and faculty alike on the basis of your gender identity or expression. No, try getting bullied because of your gender or your race. Okay? You can take that dress and wig off. Can I take off this blackness? When I go around a bunch of white people when I was a kid, could I take this off and not be bullied because I was black because my hair was different? You know what I mean? It's like, bleed. I know you're not looking for sympathy from me on that shit because that's ridiculous. You are less likely to face resistance when asking to be recognized by your chosen name. I mean, if people gonna call you whatever you tell them your name is. It's only when you start wanting to call people to call you her and she, and your ass is sitting up there with a 6-inch beard and shit that you people gonna have a problem. You're sitting up there, you gotta pee. You're a he. Get over it. The curriculum at your school is more likely to center the experience and perspective of people who share your experience of gender. Of course, because the majority of the country is heterosexual and they know what kind of, what they are and they accept it. They're not fighting it. So, I mean, for you to sit there and think that, that that's a problem and that you're suffering and this is a privilege that we have, this is just the way that it is. It's just like our money is green. I might like purple better. But, other people say like the money green. And so it's going to be green. And I'm just going to have to get used to that. I don't understand this. You will not have a teacher, classmate, counselor, or administrator question the authenticity of your gender. No, but they sure do question the authenticity of your intelligence as a Black person. Okay. Now, your gender, that's something, like I said, you can take that off. I can never take this off. And because you're articulate and intelligent and you get straight A's and all this kind of stuff, and you're in an environment with white people where you get better grades than they do, you speak better than they do, you write better than they do, you're much more personable than they are, all the haterism comes out. And so you don't get to shine that much because they're envious of the way that you are. So you get checked for that. You get put in a situation where you don't get the advantages that you have worked so hard to get simply because of this. Okay. So I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's like there's just like I don't want to hear it. And so I can't have any pity for somebody who's lived white and you got every privilege in the fucking free world. And then because you decided you want to put on a dress, you want other people to feel sorry for you and feel like they have privileges now. The privileges that you and your ancestors took away from them all them decades and centuries ago. Now you want them back and you mad? No, this is the kind of shit that had me cussing for the next week. You won't be questioned or interrogated about your genitals by others at school. The fuck you won't? Women always get that. Oh, look at them big old titties. What size bra you wear? We hear that shit all the time. Look at that fat ass. I bet you this and that off of that ass. You know what I mean? Don't we hear that, ladies? You start hearing that shit at 12, 11 from motherfuckers. You can't even walk down the street as a little girl without hearing that shit. And these motherfuckers want to sit up here and act like, they're the only ones suffering from this kind of stuff. And it's because they want to put on a dress now. Don't. You don't have any idea of the torture that men put women through. For years, we have to be bothered with that shit. Flashing you and all kind of stuff. It won't be questioned. The hell we won't. You are less likely to be misgendered by others while at school. Of course not, because we accept who we are. If the way that you look is the way that people are going to assign you. I look like a black woman. So why would they suddenly think, I better not say that she's a black woman because she might be a white man? Do you understand how ridiculous that is? That expectation that you have that people are going to know this about you and they're going to dress you in the way that you fantasize that they should? I'm like, I just don't get this. Okay, now let's talk about, they have this list, cis privilege in the workplace. If you receive tips at your job, you are less likely to be stiffed on the basis of your gender identity or expression. No, you're likely to be stiffed on the fact that you're a woman and you're black. Okay? Race. They'll put shit. I saw a thing where somebody wrote, nigga, get a better job on the receipt instead of leaving a tip. Have you ever had to deal with some shit like that? If you ever had, like my girlfriend who worked as a flight attendant, this old ass white woman was on the plane, and my friend is very fair. She's like Cajun or, with Creole or something like that. She's, real fair skin and got like kind of blonde, sandyish hair. So, but this black, this old white lady sees her and she says to her on Continental Airlines, my friend used to be a flight attendant on Continental. This hag says to my friend, I don't want you to serve me, nigger. I want a white woman to serve me. Luckily, the pilot was cool. The pilot came from out the cabin. He went on there, and this head girlfriend tossed her ass off the plane. And because you're not going to talk to my flight attendants like that. But that's what I'm saying. This is the kind of shit, we get that shit every day. They want to offer you a lower salary just because you black or you a woman. White men aren't used to that. They used to being at the top of the food chain. So suddenly, because they put on a dress, they want to still have those same energies. And it's like, you don't understand. When you assign yourself to be a woman, this comes with it. The oppression comes with the title of woman. Get fucking used to it. Okay, we've had to deal with it for all our lives. And you just now getting on the gravy train and you trying to change shit, but only for yourself. So you're not really trying to change it for us. For women as a whole, you focus it on yourself, your trans selves. You're not trying to do shit for us. I know that game. That's bullshit. You want to talk about, I'm just saying, it's like if they really wanted to make sure that women as a whole were advanced, this whole trans thing wouldn't be the issue that it is, because what they're doing is they're trying to put their rights ahead of women's rights. Real women with the V. Okay. So you're not trying to help us do anything. You're not promoting our thing. You're not helping us get birth control. You're not helping us keep our abortion rights. You're not helping us do nothing. You're not volunteering at the battered woman shelters. You're not doing shit except sitting around trying to figure out how you're going to advance your trans agenda. So I'm not going for it. So just sit there and think that women are going to be on your team. No, you're not going to waste some time being on your team. We have to fight for ourselves. We have to fight to keep the rights that we've already fought for. Women have died fighting men to get free, to have the right to live the way that they want to have their children, to not be in abusive relationships, all this kind of stuff. Women have had to fight for every single thing. And now here, because you want to put on a dress and stuff, now you want to get on the gravy train all late and be mad because nobody is welcoming you. We put in too much work to give you the reins of this ship now, homie. Not happening. Not fucking happening. Where is it? Tisha is a moderator in the group. She helps me keep the nutcases down to a low roar. And everybody you see that has a blue name, that's what they are. They're moderators. And they had a right to, boot people out, delete nasty comments and stuff like that. That's what that is. You are less likely to experience discrimination in the workplace. Oh, I think I talked about that one. Your competence is less likely to come into question because your gender, quote, goes against nature. Again, we're back to Black women. How many times do we have to feel, it's taught to us even by our parents, you got to be twice as good as the white girls and white boys, whatever, to get the same job. And they're going to want to pay you less. You got the same education. You pass the same bar. You have the same licenses. Everything is in order. You have the better experience a lot of times and better grades. But still, they would prefer to give the job to some unqualified ass white girl than to you, even if you have the experience, education, and training. They want to give it to her because she's white. We see that shit every goddamn day. So I'm like, where's these fucking privileges that you're talking about? Where do we as Black women have that shit? That's what I'm saying. This whole thing where they talking about all these privileges and stuff, this doesn't apply to Black women. We are the last frontier because they done already rolled over the white girls because they just gave up without a fight. Ladies, I'm telling you, we are it. This is where the buck's got to stop. So every sister, you better put your attitude on, put your grease up your face, pull your earrings out, and get ready to rumble because this is about to be on. Every single thing that you have that you need to protect for your daughters and your future grandchildren and all this stuff is coming to a head right now. These people, they doing everything they can to take over your spaces, to take over the very title that you have of woman, to take over all the associated, he, she, she, her, all this stuff, right? They want to take all of that from you and then say that, there are women that have a penis. No, motherfucker, there's only men that have those. You can't be a woman with a dick. That's an oxymoron. What are you talking about? Oh my God. Okay. And then here's when they talk about, well, you're less likely to have to hide your gender identity due to fear of harassment or discrimination. Why do you think Black people used to come up from the South, the ones that could pass for white, and they would pass for white? It's the same shit. Okay, you could, like I said, you could take that wig and that dress off. We can't ever take this off. This is forever. Okay, we have to deal with everything that comes with it. And they know if they could pass as white, then a lot of doors would open for them that would otherwise be closed because it's a Black, whites only kind of world at that time. And they would come up and they would be a part of that whites only world. And so, they would get the opportunities to support their families, to get education, to get the kind of jobs and promotions and positions that they would not be given if they were Black. And we all know that. So it's like, you're speaking to the choir when you come over into a Black space talking about this kind of stuff. You will not get any pity or sympathy or support. It's not going to happen. Not from no Black woman, not the ones with any goddamn sense anyway. There's some that, that do that. And I sit there, it's like, okay, these are the ones that probably run up and give their money to pastors because they so, like dick whipped or something. You are less likely to experience homelessness or poverty. The majority of the poor people in this country are women and children. Women and children. Women of all races and children, especially Black and brown women and children. So again, you crying about some shit that you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You're a white male. You have every opportunity you want to be whatever the fuck you want to be. So to sit up there and try to, figure out how you're going to get some sympathy from us to support this, what you're talking about is you're just wasting your breath. It's not going to happen. Stories that resemble your experience are more likely to be told and represented. How often have we tried to get black people on TV that wasn't playing Step and Fetch It? Even before they would even let black women be on TV, they would put men in dresses and paint their face black. They didn't want to put black people on TVs and stuff. Our stories didn't get told. Our stories of bravery and our stories of creative inventions and stuff. Nothing. The only thing you would get to do is be like some, you buck dancing, yes, yes, boss, that kind of shit. They would put the black people in the role for that. But anything like, like even recently when everybody was going to cast Idris Elba as James Bond, white people went crazy. They didn't want to see a black man be James Bond. And this shit was in 2015. Okay? And you sitting up here thinking that somebody's going to care about this stuff because you decide you want to be a woman? Let me throw this shit away. There's no such thing as cis privilege. That just shut all that shit down. There's no such fucking thing. Oh, that's bullshit. Okay, genuine. I already talked about that. What is this? Another interesting aspect of this, because you think, well, it's only, V-havers that say that trans women are not women. That's not true. There are a lot of women and trans women who say the same thing. There's an article, let me see if I can, the trans women who said it was okay. This woman, Jenny Murray, very well known in circles, saying that trans women shouldn't call themselves real women. She's a presenter in BBC's Women's Hour. This was last year when this got printed. She said she's not transphobic or anti-trans and called for respect and protection from bullying and violence. The same thing I said, nobody should have to suffer with that, no matter what, gender they are, or age, race, whatever. Okay. However, the piece appeared under the less nuanced heading, Jenny Murray, be trans, be proud, but don't call yourself a real woman. Can someone who has lived as a man with all the privileges that entails really lay claim to womanhood? It takes more than a sex change in makeup, she says. I know that in writing this article, I'm entering into the most controversial and at times vicious, vulgar, and threatening debate of our day. I'm diving headfirst into deep and dangerous waters. And she says, trans women have every right to have their identity and experiences respected too. This is somebody who was against this Jenny woman. They are women just like you and me, and their sense of gender is ingrained in their identity as yours is or mine. No, that's not true. That's not true. That is so not true. Being trans is not about sex changes or clothes. It's about an innate sense of self. To imply anything other than this is seductive and hurtful to many trans people who are only trying to live life as their authentic self. Be authentic, but don't call yourself a woman because you're not one. That's the main point here. You are something else. Think of a new name, but you're not a woman. You're never going to be a woman, and just accept it. So she says, Murray wrote of how furious that a male to female transsexual could be so ignorant of the politics that have preoccupied women for centuries. And that's what I'm trying to say. This woman she's talking about, it played to the belief that she was a real woman, ignoring the fact that she had spent all her life before her transition enjoying the privileged position in our society generally accorded to a man. In a discussion about the hotel's demands that its female staff should always wear makeup, have a manicure, and wear stockings over shaved legs, this trans person was perfectly happy to go along with such requirements. There was a hint of understanding that he was simply playing into the stereotype, a man's idea of what a woman should be. And that's what I'm saying. Y'all need to look up autogynephilia. Let me type it in here so you know how to spell it. And look that up. That is what they say. Most of these guys are the affliction that they're dealing with. They are turned on sexually, stimulated by the thought of themselves being a woman, having breasts, having, wearing perfume and flowy dresses and makeup and flipping their hair and, having their nails done and, wearing high heels and prancing. That's why they always are a little bit overdone. Notice this is all this affected kind of behavior. It's a stereotype of what a woman is. Women who are V havers don't need to do all that because we're very confident in our womanhood. We didn't have to go buy it. Okay, we didn't have to go pay for it with shots and pills and surgery. We have it because it's ours, and you cannot take it. You cannot take it. Yeah, vagina envy. That's for real. Okay, this is the other thing that I want to make sure you guys get this link so that you check out that video that is about women who are fighting this movement of the legalization of men in locker rooms uh, and dressing rooms and showers and stuff like that, where there are women undressing and teenage girls and children. They're doing, they're talking about how many people have been, sexually assaulted, and so they're very triggered by these experiences of these men wanting to come in, when they walk around in a towel, and of course their towel just conveniently flies open, so they're exposing their genitalia to all their male genitalia to all these little children and these teenage girls and their moms and everybody. It's just really terrible, and they don't understand. Okay, there's something going on with you that you feel the need to do that. You know, I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, this lady, if you get a chance, look her up, Jenni Murray, and read what she has to say about how trans women need to understand you're not a woman, you're never going to be a woman, and just accept it. And she's like, Murray quoted Judy Roberts, 72, who transitioned more than 20 years ago, on whether trans women should be considered, quote, real. I'm not a real woman is the first thing she said to me in a recent conversation. I understand that a lot of trans women want to believe they're women, but we're not. Okay, so why is it that these people can understand that and these American ones want to fight you tooth and nail and call you names if you don't want to call them, a he, a she, or a her? They still threaten violence like men. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. There was the case where the guy, this MMA fighter, got in the ring. Now, what was really interesting was this MMA fighter, the reigning champion, an MMA chick, was white, right? Her, her coaches and whatever promoters and stuff protected her. She did not go into the ring with this man, but the black girl didn't have that kind of protection, and they put her in Fallon Fox. Thank you. Put her in the ring with Fallon Fox, who is a man, okay, a man's strength, a male MMA fighter in with with a woman. And I had something about her, how she was saying how she never felt so overpowered because she's like, she's a strong woman, but it's on her own as a female. She's very, it's a pretty strong lady. But she said that from the second she got in there, she felt totally overpowered because men have so much upper body strength. So he's pinning her down, right? And even with her strength, she couldn't get loose. This dude he gave her a concussion and he busted her eye socket. Okay, there's no way in this world that she should have been in the ring with a man like that. And I feel like, this is my own personal opinion, that a lot of these dudes that decide that they're trans, yeah, she was fucked up as sister too. So I was hot. It's like, what in the world? She was all kinds of fucked up, and yeah, it was very frightening. And so it's like, a lot of what some of these schools are doing in other countries, they have more sense in the United States. You have to go in the bathroom that's on your birth certificate. If it says boy, your ass is a boy, and that's it. That's it. That's all. That's it. The end. If it says girl, you're a girl. You're going to go in the girls' locker room. You're going to change in there. You're going to use the girls' bathroom, and that's it. If you have a dick, you're going in the boys' bathroom, and that's it. I don't care what else you do. I like that policy because it keeps bullshit to a minimum. As an option, they can always have a gender neutral bathroom in the middle. Penis havers, vagina havers, anybody. That's one option. But yeah, no self-identifying. You are what it says on your birth certificate. Because when you die, that's what it's gonna be. So I don't know what all the big whoop-de-doo is. The thing that's concerned me now, see, I have this article here. Transgender laws threaten to erase women. This is what I was talking about earlier about the laws, the things that are set aside for either for privacy and the threat of sexual violence from women, the things that enable women to get, as a minority class, to get opportunities that are normally only given to white males, right? The opportunities for scholarships and to get, sports scholarships and music scholarships and all this kind of stuff. There's some things where they have to kind of level the playing field. Some people of color and some women will get opportunities that normally white males only gave to themselves. Okay. But if you have a bunch of white males now talking about they a woman, what's going to happen to those protections under Title VII? What do you think is going to happen now? Okay, because a lot of people don't think about that. You got residence halls at the colleges and universities that were, for girls only. It keeps the incidences of sexual assault and, rapes and all kind of other stuff, violence down if it's only females. But now you got these men talking about they women and they want to be in the dorms where the girls are. It makes those girls vulnerable to bullshit. I mean, just because a guy says that this is the thing about it. There's no proof required. They just say just wake up one morning and say, well, I feel like a girl. And then, they get carte blanche to go into women's spaces where women are vulnerable, changing, sleeping, showering, toileting. These are positions that put them at a disadvantage if a man is a predator. And these guys know that. And they're going to use this shit to their advantage. It's some scary stuff. Because, there might be some real people who are out here who feel like they're in the wrong body. But, how are we supposed to know just by looking who's who? Which man is the real man and which man is the pedophile, pervert, predator? Which one? How are we supposed to know that? That's why in order to protect women, no men need to be in a space with women. No matter what you feel like you are inside, this is about protecting women. And if you are, you say that you're a woman and you trans now and you all this stuff, you ought to understand that because they're sitting around talking about the violence that they have to endure. Well, women have been enduring that shit for eons, been burned at the stake, and all kind of stuff has happened to women throughout history. Okay, you just now getting in on a little bit of it and you crying wolf about that. So it's like, this is a problem. I don't quite know what we're going to do about it, ladies. I'm thinking we're going to have to form some kind of art organization. There's a lot of organizations that promote, LGBT, whatever rights and stuff. And I mean, they got law firms, they got all kind of political organizations and social support and all kind of stuff in place for them. We're going to have to get something in place for women to fight this shit. Every state that tries to pass a law like this, we need to jump on their asses with both feet. All those congressmen and senators, and let them know, motherfucker, you better not vote for that shit. You better keep men in wherever they are. Everybody with a dick over there somewhere and everybody with a vagina over here somewhere, so that they don't have any opportunities to get in a position where they're gonna be violating a woman's body. Even in prison, they don't want to be in there with the men, those pee havers. So they claim, well, I'm a woman. Now, some of them are in prison for raping women. But now all of a sudden it's time for prison time. Now suddenly they want to be a woman so they can be over there with the women and victimize the women behind bars where they don't have any help or any support system. Nobody should protect them. And these idiots were actually considering it. See, stuff like that. There's the kind of stuff we have to fight in order to keep this shit from happening. Those women may have done something bad, that put them behind bars, but they deserve to do their time safely without having to be worried about being raped in the middle of the night by some man in drag. That's just not cool. That's not cool at all. That's the reason they have women's prison separate from men's prison, because they know how men are. And just because you got on a wig and a dress, that don't make you any different. Your ass is still a man. You still got a male mentality. The mentality that you have, that people better give you what you want, the way you want it, when you want it, or you're going to force it down their throat. That's a strictly male concept. That is male behavior all day long. And they don't even see that how they're behaving is men. That's male-like behavior. Nothing about that indicates that you're a woman. You're acting just like a dude, a spoiled ass, narcissistic male. That's what all of them are doing. First thing they do, if you disagree with them, you're a TERF, you're transphobic. And what does transphobic mean? Like I said, biphobia means you have an irrational fear of something. Nobody's scared of no trans man, trans woman, nothing. Nobody's afraid. Um, they just don't disagree with you. That's all. It's very it's very easy to understand. It's just a disagreement, plain old disagreement. And so they want to say that sex is ambiguous and there's no reason why. Okay, so this is what I was going to say. They want to do away with labels, right? We say, oh, they don't do it with labels. We can't be, um, you can't say pregnant woman. You have to say pregnant person and, expectant person and instead of expectant mother and stuff like this. So they want to do away with these quote labels. Yet they would angry as fuck if you don't call them she or her. They want that label, but they don't want you to have one that identifies you as what you are. Did you notice that? The difference? Isn't that interesting? Bunch of shit. Whatever, uterus bears, whatever it is. It's just interesting. So, but it's like if they do away with the, female, woman, girl, those kind of terms, then everything under Title 7, Title 9, Title 9 will go away because there won't be any women or girls anymore. Everybody just be some, like amoeba or some, I don't know, some term that doesn't really mean anything. And who will have done that? It's like the white male. We had to fight to get that power away from white males. And now by putting on a dress and acting like us, they're getting it back. They want to get it back. That's what this is. It's all about getting it back. They don't want women to have shit. They want you to even have your own name. You can't have your own locker room. You can't have your own organization. You can't have your own, nothing. You can't own anything because these white males want it. And if they want it, then they're going to take it and there won't be shit you can do about it. And that's what I said. You better fight now. You better fight now while you can. Because once they feel like they've got all of this, then you're just going to have hell getting it back. It's like you put yourself in a situation, right? You put your kid in a situation, your kid gets molested, and then you want to take them to counseling, you want to do all this shit to try to fix it, where the easiest thing would have been to do everything that you can on the front end to keep that from happening. And that's what I'm advocating right now. We got to do everything on the front end to keep this shit from happening. I'll look into what that can be, but hold on a second. In this case, this is a guy. Oh, this picture's not good. That little color printer's kind of sad. Can you see that? Okay, that's a guy who says that he identifies as a girl, and he wanted unrestricted access to the girls' locker room at his school. It went all the way to the state court. And the ACLU had the nerve to be representing him. See, I'm through with the ACLU too, because it's like, okay, you promoting this strict minorities' rights while you fucking over all the rights of women. What about our rights? Nobody's talking about that. What about our rights? We are half the population in this country. And suddenly our rights are being pushed under the rug for this very minute portion of males' rights. See, that's what it is. It don't matter if it's a man and the dress is still a man. And so by the fact that he is going to, he wants something, then other males get behind him to make him have it at our expense. This is some straight bullshit. Straight bullshit. But anyway, this judge wasn't having it. And I'd want to write this judge a letter and say thank you. So Judge Thomas Allen rejected Palatine High School student Nova Maday's request for a preliminary injunction that allowed unrestricted use, according to the ACLU, which sued in November on Maday's behalf. See, the ACLU need to sit all the way down and have all the seats in every stadium in this country and just shut the fuck up. Fight for some women's rights for a change. You know what I mean? Yeah, we just should send him flowers, honey, all kind of stuff, some seeds candy, a strippergram, all kind of shit he should get. This case marked the latest legal clash of the use of school bathrooms for facilities by transgender students in the United States, which has sparked battles in North Carolina, Kentucky, and elsewhere. They had the school district requires transgender students to use a private changing area inside the locker room of their preferred gender. The judge ruled that a preliminary injunction was not warranted as the case proceeds. I am disappointed with the decision today, Madej said. All I want is to be accepted by my school for who I am, a girl, and be able to take gym and use the locker room to change clothes like the other girls in my class. Motherfucker, you have a dick. None of the other girls have a dick. Okay, so you're not like the other girls. This is like basic. We played this game in kindergarten. Which one is not like the others? You're not. Whoever this Madej person, you're different because you have a dick. That means you're not like the other girls. Yeah, dick and balls. You're right. I forgot about the balls. So, he wants to be accepted by something by girls. I mean, these are teenage girls, okay? They're already struggling with some body image issues and stuff like that. You know how teenage girls are. Everybody thinks they're too fat, too skinny. Their boobs are too small, too big. I mean, they pick themselves apart as it is. So to be in a locker room where they're going to be changed, because most of them locker rooms don't have curtains and all that stuff. It's like rows of lockers and a bench in the middle. And so everybody's just changing, there, and everybody's naked and everybody's got their towel on and they draw bra and panties and all that sort of stuff, right? He wants to be in the middle of that with his little pervert ass. No, go over there to the facility that they set up for you. It's in the girls' locker room, but you're not going to be amongst those girls changing clothes. Needs to be good enough. Because what he wants is his right to usurp their rights to be in an environment where they don't have to see a dick. See, and I'm really just really wondering, what is going on that these people think that these people should have rights that supersede those of women, where there's millions and millions and millions of women in this country, and you just want to run over them because 12 of y'all want to be in the locker room with the women. No, get out of here, all the way the fuck out of here. That shit just drives me crazy. I don't understand it. So I will. Oh, wait, what is this now? God, I have so many. Okay, does everybody understand what transphobia is? So when someone calls you that again, you will know that they're silly. Yes, they are. I don't understand them wanting to use women's restrooms. Fuck out of here. Being there, people changing their tampons and stuff, and even if it's behind the door, so what? You don't need to be. No, just go in the men's room or go in a separate room or something. What some companies have done, like Trader Joe's and some Whole Foods and stuff, they have the single holder bathrooms, right? And they have like 3 or 4 of them. So when you go in there, nobody cares what you are. Nobody cares what you are, and you just do. They have a urinal and a toilet in each one. And some of them have like a baby changing doohickey in them too. So all the bathrooms are the same. That's a perfect solution, because then it's not infringing on anybody. But as far as, I don't think a business with like a locker situation, with showers and stuff could afford to do it. I mean, they'd have to do a complete remodel of their business, and that would be like prohibitively expensive just again to cater to, 5 people. No, just go in the bathroom with the people that have the peas. So anyway, so let's talk about this. So when somebody calls you transphobic, understand what it is. Transphobia is defined here is a range of negative attitudes, feelings, or actions towards transgender or transsexual people or toward transsexuality. Transphobia can be emotional disgust, fear, violence, anger, or discomfort felt or expressed towards people who do not conform to society's gender expectation. Okay, that is a total like umbrella term where that's not what a phobia, that word, that's not what a phobia means. So if you have disgust or you have discomfort or you just prefer not to be bothered, that's not a phobia. That means, as a straight person, if you don't want to date somebody who's a trans and converted to whatever the sex is that you like, and you don't want to date them because they're not really that gender, that's fine. That doesn't mean that you're transphobic. It's a preference that you have. If you want to have children and you're a woman with a uterus and a V and you want to have a family, you're not going to have it with somebody who, is a woman converted over to a man. Okay. And just like if you have a situation where you're a guy and you want a woman to have kids with, you're never going to have that with a guy who converted over to a woman. Okay. That's not transphobia. That's a reality. You got to get, the kind of person that you want to be with. And you have every right to do that. And nobody has a right to call you names because you don't want to be with them. It's just the same as I walked down the street and saw some fine, you know, 30-year-old man, and I went up to him and said, baby, you and me need to be together because, this and that, whatever. And he's like, no, lady, I don't want to be with somebody like you. You're too old for me. Okay, now I'm going to call him age phobic. I'm going to jump back and call him all kind of names because he don't want to be with me. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Because you decided that you want to live this fantasy and it excites you to be a woman and you want somebody to, interact with you like you are a woman so you can live your fantasy out. Nobody's obligated to do that. Not these people that you want. I mean, there's plenty of people online that are looking for what they call them, women with that something extra, or, chicks with dicks and all this kind of stuff. I mean, there are websites where they're looking for people like you. Go there. Okay, and you will be fully welcomed. You will be applauded. You will be like chased after and adored and all of those kind of things. But you have no right to come into a situation where someone is flatly telling you you're not the kind of person that they want to be with in a romantic relationship or as a mate, and then get mad and call them names. See, that's a strictly male, violent, narcissistic type of response. That's what men do. That's why y'all go around and shooting up women because the women didn't want to date with you. It's the same date you or give you their number or even talk to you. It's the same mentality. You feel fucking entitled. You feel entitled. So you want to talk about someone talking about, well, I'm a lesbian now. No, you're fucking ass not no goddamn lesbian. You don't have a V. That's what lesbians like. V's. You don't have one. So you'll never be a lesbian. Oh my God. This is like so like basic. Exactly. It's just it's the same thing. And they don't really understand how their mind is still male. No matter what they do to the exterior, their attitudes about women is strictly male. Everything about them is still a man. They just change their outside, but all they're thinking is still male. It's just very sad. But I hope that this brings a lot of things to the core. I probably left out something because there's so much to talk about. If you think about something that you think, I'd left out or whatever, just put it down in the comment section and I'll try to respond. Because I was skipping around a lot. I know that there's just so much to do, so much to talk about, and these labels, this cis shit. Don't insult a woman. You claim that you're a trans woman, okay, woman. Then don't you dare insult another woman by calling her cis. Okay, that's some shit some man made up. Some trans man, woman, whatever, trans person, organization, whatever, made up to talk about women that have these. Okay, and it's like a derogatory term. It's like calling a black person a nigger. Okay, you don't have that right, white boy, and you don't have that right as a boy, man, whatever the fuck you are, to call women anything other than Miss, Ma'am, or whatever her name is. Okay, don't you be calling her no cis shit and hets and turfs and all of those derogatory stuff. See, you want to have women supporting you and being on your team and stuff. Nobody's gonna be on your team when you act like that. Just acting all demanding, throw like a toddler throwing a tantrum. That's not gonna work. Nobody's gonna ever be on your side with that kind of mentality. Yeah, don't call me that. You're likely to get busted in the eye. That's some bullshit. Yeah, they don't want labels, right? But they steadily labeling us. Just a bunch of bullshit. So I hope this was of some advantage to you guys, to explain some things and get you to understand what's going on in the political climate under which we are in right now. Is the way I see it as African American women of color, because a lot of sisters in here, other sisters, Latina and from other Middle Eastern and all this stuff. You guys are in the same boat. Because you will be affected by this as well. So everybody needs to give this some thought and keep your eyes and ears open for when this kind of shit is going to affect your kids and stuff. Fight. Don't give up. Don't just let them go with it. Show up at the school board meetings and tell them, hell fucking no. That shit's not going to happen. And they better figure out something else to do so that, those people can have whatever facilities they need. But you don't want your underage minor child in a situation where she's being exposed to male genitals that are half nude. Teenage boys get a boner because the wind blew. So your girls are gonna be sitting up there looking at, some hard dicks and stuff at school. That's inappropriate. That's like pornographic. They should not. They should never be in the same place at the same time in any kind of unhalf dressed state. That is just wrong on so many. It's the school's job to protect your girls, not to expose them to bullshit because some boy wants to decide that he wants to be a girl today. And then all the little girls, hundreds of little girls, have to get exposed to his bullshit. No, that's not right. So y'all better fight this shit, I'm telling you. And make sure that you yeah, they are. They showing up, but you better show up too. They have a real agenda. This is unbelievable. All right. So you guys, I will be back. I can't tomorrow because I got something to do tomorrow. Maybe Thursday. It was a big parade around here and everything because everybody's so excited about the Warriors winning. So it was, kind of a lively mood in Oakland today, whole Bay Area, as a matter of fact. But I think this was a lot of this what needed to be said. If you guys have any questions, like I said, put them down in the comment section below. This is a way for us to understand what's at stake and to figure out what we're going to do to organize to fight this, because this cannot continue. This cannot continue. These men have no right to push their way into women's spaces, especially where our minor girls and children are involved. They have no right to be there. None. Ever. Right? It's going to do worse than confuse them. It's going to put them at a lot of risk. So that even if you're in a situation where these dudes are taking pictures of them and putting it on the internet, you don't know what they're doing in there. All right. So that's what I'm saying. They don't need to be there. There's too many questions, too many issues. These are minors. They need to be protected with everything that we have. Okay. But you guys take care. I hope that you enjoyed the discussion. Be sure to subscribe, share the video, share a link or two, this one, any other videos on the channel, and become a subscriber. Click that bell so that you get the symbol as soon as I log on, because I'm a good for a pop-up. You never know when I'm going to appear. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.